Whatever it is, where you're is, welcome to 4K4U. I am Tom Connors. We have a heck of a lot to talk about. I wasn't sure if we were going to have a show this week, but evidently we are. Welcome once again, Valliant Renegade. I'm glad to have you here.
Muted myself again, and I did it. I thought I unmuted myself when we came in, and then I apparently muted myself. So, good to be back live at 5 on a Wednesday afternoon. And yeah, you're right. There's a bunch of stuff.
Lots.
And that, of course, is our buddy Greg from over at FanZcene. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you guys doing this evening?
Doing the best I can. Actually, I'm having a hell of an afternoon here.
Nice.
I've been having one of those days where I've been right about a lot of things. Speaking of right, we're going to get into some announcements and rumors here real quick. Gabe A sent us in a super chat before the show. Well, hello, Gabe. Says with $5, could they ever put Bob Ross's painting episodes in 4K? Depends. Did they? I don't think they filmed those on film. I'm pretty sure those were all done on video.
Yeah, that was like Betamax or whatever they shot.
Yeah. Because those were through PBS, and back then in video, they were big time investors in
most.
In
you can really upconvert that without it's just not going to make a difference. I mean, you might be able to get that to HD just to do an upconversion, but beyond that, no.
I'd have to look. I don't think they ever did those on film.
No, like I know they're on Netflix or somewhere because I know my wife would like binge watch them, and I think they were on Netflix or whatever she was watching. It was probably in HD, but again, it's not like it looked markedly better than it did on television back in the day because of how they were done.
Yeah, because that's the problem. Once you hit about late 70s up through basically HD digital, everything that was on television was usually, if it wasn't like a drama or even a produced show, it was done through video feed. Mm-hmm. So chances are that's the only, because we were just having this conversation and he is my witness because Greg noticed there was supposed to be some Nightmare on Elm Street news dropping this morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's not going to be what we expect though, is it?
Exactly.
And I was right in my prediction.
yes, you were. Because I told Tom, I was, this guy, CHH, Planet CHH, Christian Hannah Horror, great guy. I saw that he posted that there was going to be some Nightmare on Elm Street physical media news coming soon. And I told Tom,
I saw that tweet. Yeah.
Yeah. I know Tom knows some stuff about that, knows some people in there. And I was like, Tom, what's up? And he's like, I would guess it's the Freddy's Nightmares TV series coming to Blu-ray, probably nothing big like we want, nothing we expect. I was like, oh, yeah, you're probably right. And then boom, there went the tweet, and I was like, Tom nailed it.
Because I ask from time to time, but they know enough people know enough about me that if any major movement were to happen on that, I'd probably hear something. And I didn't hear anything, so I was like, yeah, this can't be a movie. And even if it is a movie, it's just the first one probably. And my first instinct, though, was since they just released Freddy's Nightmares on, what was it, that streaming service? Streambox or Screenbox, whatever the hell it is.
And now it's on Tubi for free.
I'm like, yeah, it's probably the show. And it's not even a U.S. release. It's a German release, right?
Yeah, it's coming in December from some German company.
But the reason I segued to that was that show was shot on film. But I believe that the masters are only in video. Like, then obviously a lot of the composites and special effects were all composited on video. So the 1080p masters that exist of those are video quality. I was very disappointed by the quality of those when they when they first dropped on Screenbox. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, they just did a Video Master, which they may not have the original stuff.
May
That's the
not,
thing
you
with
never
New
know.
Line. I have no idea how well that stuff was preserved back in the day, and from what I know from certain stories and horror stories, let's say I've heard, probably not well. So that's probably the only versions we're ever going to get. That aside, they don't look horrible for video quality, but they are just 480p upconverted. Not
Also-
even really upconverted to
Yeah.
1080p. Yeah.
Yeah. And also BDW, after you guys watch this, I just uploaded a video on this topic on my channel. So
Oh, I didn't
there you
even
go.
catch that yet. Usually,
I just now, like right before we
Oh,
went live,
okay.
I posted it public. So
well, if you didn't get a chance to check it out after
check it after the show.
channel.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Bob Ross remastered. That's right. Oh, Stanley said your video just showed up. That's a good thing to know.
There you go. All
Means the
right.
system is working. But Valiant, we did get a bunch of other news this weekend, rumors. So where should we start first? News or rumors? Usually we start with rumors, but I'm gonna leave it up to you.
I'm game. I mean, there's a lot. Let's just. I mean, I'm scrolling back through everything I was looking at this morning, going, just throw a dart. I mean, geez and Pete's. I mean,
Well, they're speaking of which, throwing a dart arrow.
you know what? I was gonna say throwing a dart arrow. I was gonna say we can get to that one because that one's
But when it boils
fun.
down to this, everything we do, audience, is for you.
Oh yes,
Isn't that right?
You know it's
Yes.
true.
yes,
I know it's true.
Everything we do it for you.
That's right. And I'm gonna lose my British accent
Some
just like
piano
Kevin
music.
Costner.
And there we go. And that is gonna
Look
be
into my eyes.
Robin Hood Men in Tights. No, I'm just kidding. Not Men in Tights.
Because
Oh, I
unlike
would love
some
that.
other Robin
Yeah.
Hoods, I can speak in a
Robin-
British accent.
Carrie always. Yeah, Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. We getting it at 4K. And then of course,
Mhm.
not to be outdone, which might be the even bigger story, is Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes, I just
Both
saw
of
that.
these are rumored at this time. But
Yes.
as Greg, you were saying about Arrow.
Yes, Arrow. That's what I say. Arrow. Robin Hood nailed it. Throwing the dart. That's what I was getting at with that. And yes,
Yeah.
I would say probably Killer Clowns is coming from Arrow, considering I have the Arrow Blu-ray of that. So
Yeah. And you'll know when we'll find out, right? You just mentioned it before the show.
yeah, I just saw it. It just says coming soon. It does have no.
Well, I mean the announcement, that is, because you said Friday. Arrow's doing an announcement for
Oh
their-
yeah, Friday. Yeah, sorry, yes. This Friday, Arrow is announcing their upcoming slate for what month are they on? Maybe December or January. Not sure what month they're on, but this Friday they announced their new titles.
The only thing is, I think Killer Clowns is going to be when they're going to try and drop for October. So I think it's just their third quarter title.
Maybe it is the October titles.
or
I don't
fourth-
think they've announced.
Would it be the
them.
third
They're-
quarter still, Valiant? Yeah, this is the third quarter. Yeah. So this would be their third quarter title.
Yeah, I don't think they've announced their October titles yet, so it could be the October titles.
But yeah, that one was one that we had mentioned, I believe, before. It may even been before you were on the show, Greg. I mentioned something like I heard some rumors about Robin Hood, but I'm kind of happy about that, and that's because Warner Brothers has been very stingy
Mhm.
on allowing other companies to touch their movies, and them allowing Arrow to do this film says a lot, right, Valiant? Because Robin Hood was no small movie back when it came out in '91.
Yes, it was one of the biggest movies of 1990s. I just remember it and enjoying it. And what's his name? Oh my gosh, his name slips me. He plays the sheriff of Nottingham.
Oh, it's what's his face from Die Hard? Yeah,
Yeah, I
Alan
get-
Rickman.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman
Alan
was
Rickman.
just so great as the villain in that movie. He was just so evil, perfect. He always played the greatest villain.
Well, we were talking about this before
He
the
was
show.
still Hans Gruber before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was only one movie that made more money than Robin Hood did that year. I don't know if you guys can guess which ones, but this is the same year, and I'll give you some options here. Not only did Robin Hood come out this year, this was the year of Kevin Costner, because don't forget, Dances with Wolves also came out.
Right.
Yep.
Damn near grossed almost as much.
Yeah,
not only
almost
did-
like a few months before that.
We got Ninja Turtles 2 that year. We got Addams Family that year. Sleeping with the Enemy, City Slickers, Silence of the Lambs, Home Alone, and Terminator 2. Now,
Wow.
it's It's probably a gimme which one made more money than Robin Hood, but not by a big shot, but just a
Home
little bit.
Alone did what?
Oh,
500?
you're close. Close. It was Terminator 2.
Oh, Terminator 2.
Well, I knew
Those-
that. No, but I knew
those-
there was a few.
yeah.
I thought Home
Now,
Alone
worldwide, Home Alone might be the case. I don't know what the
maybe that's
worldwide
what
is. I'm looking at
remembering.
domestic right now, so
Okay.
yeah. It could very well be. I know Home Alone was the #1 grossing comedy of all time until...
Well, you know what? Home Alone came out
Whatever it
towards the end of the year, so you have to see if they're looking at a split dollar for that
That's
year.
a split dollar, actually, because I think Home Alone actually came out in 90. You're correct, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. 90 versus 91. Okay, I knew it was close. Yeah.
So overall, you're probably right. Home Alone probably... I don't know if Home Alone
But it didn't
gross
release
more
in the
than-
same year then.
See,
If it
I don't
came out
know.
in 90,
Terminator
yeah.
2 made a buttload of money.
Yeah, I remember
What
seeing it in
was
theaters.
T2's release date? Wasn't it summer?
Summer, it was the 4th of July weekend or Memorial. I can't
So
remember
then
which.
they would have had its whole run pretty much. in
Oh,
the same
hell
year.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, hell yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, so Robin Hood, I wonder if it's going to be the theatrical and the director's cut, because there was a director's cut that came out on DVD a few years back. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
you guys
got
remember
that.
or not.
I got that Blu-ray.
I've never actually seen the director's cut. Is it any better?
It's really not that much different.
Oh, okay.
Not too much, really. I think there's like maybe 5 different minutes. Nothing
Probably the
special.
TV cut or something.
Yeah, nothing too special.
Because I don't remember what the running time on that was.
Yeah,
but
it's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, from what I remember, I'll show you tonight before we go live.
But usually, if a movie's only like 5 minutes longer and it's to get it to an exact running time, like 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after, dead on, then it's usually what the case is. 'Cause
Yeah.
depending on the era when it came out, like, because back when we were kids, they wanted 95 minutes for a 2-hour patch, or 1 hour and usually between 35 and or 2 hours and between 2 hours and 5 minutes or so, roughly, for a 2.5 to 3 hour, and then a little bit more for the 3 hour. They needed a whole half hour. So like, yeah, they had to get it up to that point so they could fit in the right amount of commercials. So that's why they would pad it out sometimes with extra scenes. Then sometimes you get lucky, like with King Kong and shit, where Dino De Laurentiis would want to really cash in, or Dune, and spread it over 2 fucking nights. Because then they get double the revenue for it. But I miss those days, actually.
I was looking to see, so 1990, so the year before Robin Hood would have come out. So yeah, Home Alone did spill over into 91, but Home Alone's total gross for its whole run, this is 1990, 285. That's domestic. This is all domestic. Ghost at 217, Dances with Wolves 184, Pretty Woman 178, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 135, Hunt for Red October 122, Total Recall 119, and Die Hard 2 at 117 in that order.
Cool.
And then you had 91. Let's see where it actually fell with everything. So yeah, T2 at 204 and Robin Hood at 160, almost 166.
Yeah. And T2 worldwide altogether did about 500 million, yeah.
Put it this way, it beat Beauty and the Beast, which came in at number 3.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Jack White says, Tom, did you get the emails I sent you last night and tell Mike that he won the life-size elf doll? Did he really? That's awesome if he did. You can send it to me, though, because he will kill it. And I did get the emails, so thank you for that. I haven't had a chance to check them out yet, but I did see that I did get them. So there you go. And Doba Fett points out, I think the director's cut establishes that the old woman is the sheriff's mom. Oh, interesting. Yeah, and just under, Home Alone did 476. I knew it didn't do quite as well as T2, but yeah, that was some crazy times when it comes to theatrical releases. But yeah, so moving on, we had some more rumors. What else did we get for rumors?
Yeah, it looks
besides
like
Killer Clowns?
Yeah, Night of the Living Dead is getting from 1968. Looks like it's getting a steelbook from Studio Canal, which we also heard that it's coming from.
I don't know if Criterion's. Are they still releasing? Yeah, so like,
I'm pretty sure
this is the foreign
it.
release. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's probably the Studio Canal transfer.
Zavi or whatever.
Yeah, Zabi or something. Which now owns Arrow. So, speaking of Arrow,
that's true.
Let's see. I don't think I have any other rumors, but we did get.
So let's get into the friggin' news because there's a butt ton.
Yeah. Where do you want to start? Because I got release dates for movies that we've talked about before, but I don't know if we've ever had.
You know what? Just start rambling them off, and like we'll stop you if we.
Okay. To Kill a Mockingbird's 4K 60th anniversary is coming out October 11th. I don't know if we brought that up.
We brought it
So-
up, but we haven't had a date. So now we
Yeah,
have a
October
date.
11th. Wayne's World on 4K is being released November 16th on 4K. So we got that. Holiday Inn from 1942 is coming into 4K in October.
Fred Astaire and Bing Crosby. I saw that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
very
yep.
cool.
And that's got a UK listing right now. So no release date or for America, I guess. It's October, at least for there. Lionsgate is releasing another 4K steelbook with the Punisher Warzone on October 18th with one of those plastic slipcover things over top of it.
Yeah. As
I'm
far as
not
I
a
can
fan
tell,
of
it's
that
just a
movie.
re-release. So
Yeah, it's another re-release.
I don't hate it. It does go off the rails, though.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not that good, but yeah, it's crazy. You can tell there was a lot of meddling in that movie.
Yeah. What else you got for us?
Sony Pictures is releasing The Razor's Edge from 1984, starring Bill Murray on October 18th. So
More
if you've ever seen
historically, that film has more historical value than the film itself, probably.
yeah, I don't think I've
ever.
ever seen it actually.
Because for those who don't know, Bill Murray said he was not going to do Ghostbusters if Columbia didn't let him do that movie first.
Yep.
Look how that turned out.
Small price to pay.
Yeah,
Exactly.
small one. Yeah.
But of course, it famously flopped. But yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why it was a small price to pay, just to get him into
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Speaking of Sony, did you also have another? This is a documentary that I fucking love. American Movie.
American Movie. Yeah, that's actually was
yeah.
my next on my right after
Coming
that
from
was
Wisconsin.
yeah, American Movie from 1999 is being released on October 18th from Sony Pictures as well.
You ever see that, Valiant?
I'm trying to remember it.
Let me see if I can grab the cover here. That might help you. But these guys are from Wisconsin, and they make a bunch of like really low budget amateur films. And this is a documentary about him trying to get his movie, was it Coven made or whatever? Yeah, but yeah, it's these two goofy guys. They're funny as shit.
Kind of.
They had a documentary show for a while too. I think it was on what the hell channel was it? I can't remember. But they did have another show and stuff like that. They've done other stuff too, but they're fucking funny. They popped up, I think, on like some other like reality stuff or like VH1 type stuff or whatever you want to call it, where you talk about like classic stuff. What else? Help me out here, Greg. What else have they been on here?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, so
I thought if anybody had seen it, you had.
I think I vaguely
I don't
remember like something from it, but I don't like remember it because I remember the cover, the two guys on the cover and everything. I can't place it, to be honest with you.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was exactly what I was going to say, Greg, is like I recognize those two guys that looks visually familiar. I don't think I've ever seen it either, but it's bringing back some kind of memory on it.
Yeah, I probably have seen parts of it. I just don't remember it, to be honest.
I'm trying to
with
remember
you.
their show, but I know they've shown up on like special features for other movies and stuff like that. Because he's like a horror historian and all that kind of stuff. And but no, it's really funny because like they're in the middle of trying to get financing for their movie.
See,
And then
now I
they're
want to see this.
And they're like talking to the guy who's running the documentary, and he's like, "Why can't you just help us out? That'll help your movie too." And he's like, "Yeah, but that goes against the whole principle of a documentary, guys. If I give you the money, then I'm interfering with my subjects." You know, it's like, and he's just desperately trying any way, shape, or form to get this movie finished. It's hilarious and heartbreaking and all these various things it's one of those documentaries that once you start watching it, you can't stop.
Oh, now I definitely got to see this one. I
It's a
cannot believe
documentary
it.
about movies, especially
Yeah.
a low independent, like, kind of situation. And
Now,
yeah,
see, I
it's
should
really
have
good.
seen this by now because that's right up my
Yeah,
alley.
Roger Ebert loved it.
Yeah, I definitely should have seen that because that's right up my alley. I'm definitely going to check that out. I think that'll be on my list to buy.
Yeah, they're
Thanks,
kind of
John.
like Red Letter Media before Red Letter Media.
No, there you go.
But they're like if Red Letter Media and Neil Breen had a child.
Nice.
So what else you got for news for us?
Here's a little something. Robert My Burnett likes to say, keep eroticism alive. The 1984 movie Gwendolyn, also known as Gwendolyn and the Perils of Yik Yak by director Just Jakin, is getting a 4K standard release on September 2nd from Camera Oscura. That stars Tawny Kitaen. It's like an Indiana Jones type movie, but with
Mm.
lots of boobs.
You can have
So-
Tawny Kitaen in anything with boobies, and I'll watch it.
Yeah, it was her first movie, and she's all out. Everything's just all out in like tons and tons of movies.
And that's
tons
how
of-
she got the
tons of
job at
movies.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah, so there's that. If you would get that, because I know it was released before in a big 4K box set that's going for like $100 right now. So if you just want the 4K of the movie, which I haven't checked to see how much that is, it comes out September 2nd, and it's young Tawny Kitaen, lots of boobs. So that you should enjoy that every minute of it. Also coming from Kino Lorber. On 4K, which is one I'm really looking forward to, is the 1974 The Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds. So I'm
Yes.
really
Yeah,
looking forward
buddy.
to that one.
Now this
I
is a
love that
man's
movie.
movie.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
fuck yes. Now this, of course, was one I've been looking forward to for a while, and I've avoided picking up the Blu-ray because something told me that this might be one of the ones that Kino picks up for 4K.
Well,
And-
it makes sense. They just finished wrapping up the offer. And of course, at the end, it kind of reminded everybody that movie existed because Al Ruddy bails out on Godfather 2 to go start doing The Longest Yard.
Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of had a feeling, I'm like, well, Paramount's bringing on. I'm like, that'd be cool if they put that out on 4K. Here we are.
Well,
Yep.
what would be even more great is if we get more seasons of shows like The Offer, and I think like a good jumping off point would be like doing one about The Longest Yard, maybe, and then we talked about, you can also then jump off with Evans over there doing Chinatown and get into all that
Yeah.
stuff, and then
Yeah.
you could even spin off there from other movies, from other studios and stuff, because I'd love to see the making of Jaws and Star Wars, and even The Exorcist would be a great one too, right? Beyond Paramount, but
Yep.
it'd be interesting to see. I'd love a show like that to kind of do like the whole kind of like spin-off kind of thing with it, since it was just a limited series anyway. So, but yeah, that'd be interesting if they did
Well,
that.
they
But
seem to set it up for that. I mean, they could just pick right up where they left off, and like
Mhm.
here's us making The Godfather 2, and then have another show with Miles Teller comes back is Al Ruddy again, and he's doing Longest Yard.
I agree. And then on
They
the
already
other
had a
end,
guy
like I said,
cast as Bert and everything else.
and then you
Heck
have a third spin-off with possibility with Chinatown and Robert Evans leading that one up.
Cool.
It's about water. That was fucking brilliant.
And
I love
stuff happening.
That's
Did you get
cool.
to see The Offer yet, Greg?
No, not yet, but I've got it, the Paramount thing, and I just haven't got to it yet.
Oh,
But
fuck, man. It's
I've
great.
heard it's really good, and so it's
They
like
need to
definitely
win
one I'm
every-
watching.
Why are you trying to
Show.
fuck me, you son of a bitch?
It took, look, I was so happy. It took 8 episodes, and I finally got Juno Temple looking at Lupitas drunk and calls him Lupinas. I was like, I was waiting 8 episodes for that, and I finally got the payoff.
And they don't really overdo that too, because that's the beauty of it. That's a situation where they could have went over with the woke, and it's like they acknowledge it in the making of it too. That
They do.
clearly her character was somebody who was very integral to the making of the film, right? Even though she didn't get the credit she probably deserved, but they didn't take that and run with it in the woke sense, right? Like they make a few points of it here and there, but they just show you. They just show you how she does it. They don't sit there and boast about it.
Yeah, she loves working with Al, and she never denigrates him. Like Al couldn't have done half the stuff he did without her running around, and that was the point. And there was no reason to man bash or woman bash. They just let
Exactly.
things be what they are, and it was a brilliantly written and executed story.
Right. And I mean, she knew that things weren't fair, but you didn't have her whining every 10 minutes about it,
Yeah.
and having like her one-upsmanship going on or anything like that. No, I love how they showed that they were a cohesive team, and even when Evans was like, you're working against me and you're fucking me, like, he still would come around because it was better for the film. But yeah, if you have not seen The Offer yet, I cannot recommend that show enough. Even if you're not a fan of The Godfather, I definitely would say check it out. I think we got this one before the show, but I'm going to grab it again anyway. I don't think we can because I checked it out. It came out in 84 and ran for 10 years, or 83 to 94, so ran just for just over 10 years. So that tells me it was probably done on video. Since we have no episodes in the 70s, chances are it was all shot on video. And I can't find an actual specificness to that.
Yeah,
Holiday Inn.
Betamax.
Yeah, Holiday Inn is literally one of my favorite movies, says Stephanie Janicek. Awesome. I love that movie so much. This is so great. I think I seen it when I was a kid. It's been so long.
That one and the other one they need to do after this one, and Stephanie probably loves this one too, would be High Society. Also, you had Fred Astaire, you had Sinatra in that, and or no, was it Fred? No, Bing Crosby in Sinatra, and with Grace Kelly. That was a great movie.
I was just like, I can't believe. I mean, I kind of weirdly have. I enjoyed speaking of like the dancers and all that stuff, because I just saw Xanadu last week, the first time. That movie would be amazing on 4K. The movie's batshit crazy, but it's fun. It's fun. It's like one long music video, right? It's like MTV before MTV, because all the effects and stuff they use end up showing up in all the next 5 to 10 years of music videos after that. It's kind of weird, but that would be a cool one to see in 4K. But anyway, Jack White says, do any of you know when the newest One Piece movie, One Piece Film Red, is supposed to premiere here in the U.S.? Not offhand.
No.
The most I could do is just look it up online like you could. They may do like a limited theatrical run with it. Sometimes they tend to do that. Depends. But then with the way whatchamacallit this last weekend played Dragon Ball. Is that what it was?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Super. I don't do Dragon Balls. I don't really know.
Right. Whatever it was this last weekend that made $20 million, that might
Dragon Ball Super something.
That might perk them up a little bit and go, oh well, maybe we should do a theatrical run of this. But otherwise, a lot of times those kind of things, anywhere from 6 or so months after they're kind of done with their run in whatever country they're from, they might pop up over here on a streaming service or on Blu-ray. But being that One Piece is a pretty big anime, I would expect it fairly soon. But I have nothing to go on, Jack, that you couldn't check yourself, sadly. So sorry I couldn't help you any more than that. And it doesn't sound like the boys here know anything else either.
I'm not.
So.
I don't know.
Yeah, and as D-Bud points out, we do play a lot of tracks from Xanadu on Mead Radio.
Xanadu.
There's some good ELO tracks on there too, not just with her, but yeah.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I wish I could give you a better answer than that, Jack. And then Jack follows up with a couple more and says, have you ever checked out the documentary about Chris Claremont and his run on X-Men that's on Prime? No, but I know the one you're talking about. It's in my queue. It's been one I've been wanting to get to for a while. I've heard it's pretty good.
I think that's going to have to go in my queue too, because I have not seen that.
Yeah, I do know it. Knew which one you're talking about, though. And then Jack White also says, you series with nudity, just check out Harem. Well, if you like a series with nudity, check out Harem series from Japan, World's End Harem to Love, Ru Nisekoi, Date Alive.
Interesting.
Otherwise, I'm sure if it's got a lot of tentacles in it, Nick might know something about it, Ricada. And Jack White says, you also get Looney Tunes level humor with 3 out of 4 of those series. Well, there you go. Well, interesting recommendations from Jack White, our resident anime recommender, or what do you call it? Connoisseur. So yes, moving on with news though, what else did we have, Greg?
Yes, another Kino Lorber title I'm hugely looking forward to. This is probably one of my all-time favorite Clint Eastwood movies, because I love horror and supernatural stuff. But High Plains Drifters 4K, brand new HDR Dolby Vision Master, comes to us on November 22nd. I love this movie.
Now, was this the movie that inspired The Crow quite a bit?
This movie, yes, as far as I could tell, this movie inspired The Crow and the movie The Wraith with Charlie Sheen.
That's right, yes.
The director himself on the Vestron Blu-ray says so, that it inspired The Crow and The Wraith. So, yes, if you've not seen it, and if you want like a supernatural horror western, watch it. That was 73.
That's 73. Okay, so I keep getting that one flip-flopped with the one he did in the 80s.
Oh,
Pale Rider?
Pale Rider, yeah.
Yeah,
I always mix up those names too, but High Plains Drifter is one of my all-time favorite Clint Eastwood movies. I cannot wait to get this on 4K. It's just an awesome movie.
Oh, is this true? I didn't know it was a remake of Shane. Okay.
I think it has a little bit of that, because where he rides off at the end, but it's not I think maybe that's actually. I think you may be getting that confused with possibly the Pale Rider. There's another one where he does that. That might be the Pale
probably
Rider.
why.
Yeah.
That's probably why I think so. Because I was thinking, was when you were mentioning, I'm like, isn't that Pale Rider? I'm like, no, I guess it is High Plains. But I'm like, which one was the one that was made in '85? Pale Rider
right.
says Pete Dencat.
Yeah, Pale Rider. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, but High Plains Drifter is a great movie. Clint Eastwood basically plays the man with no name as usual. He rides into this town, and there's these three criminals.
Tells everybody that deserves got nothing to do with it and kills everyone. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, pretty much almost. He comes into this town where these three criminals are about to head back where they actually just killed the last man that was there. And I don't want to spoil it, but if you've seen The Wraith, if you've seen The Crow, if you like those movies, check this out because this is the inspiration for those stories. It's a great movie.
So moving on with rumors, what else we got?
Or
actually, that's kind of a semi-rumor, actually.
Well, that's actually just been confirmed. So
there you go.
Yeah, it's November 22nd on a 4K from Kino.
We already did technically the rumors, but we're going to back around to some. But anyway,
Scream Factory just released 2 new titles that's available right now that we can get to. One is a double feature with the movie Strip to Kill and Final Judgment, which stars Brad Dourif. Those look good. I think I'm going to probably pick that up. And Space Truckers with Dennis Hopper and Steven Dorff and Debbie Mazar. Yeah, and Charles Dance. That is available right now on Blu-ray from Scream Factory. So
I don't know if I've seen it or not. I think it's the movie. I think it is.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've seen that. But yes.
Yeah, I think I've seen it on Cinemax like years and years.
It's one of those type of movies. It's crazy. Directed by Stuart Gordon, who did Reanimator. So
I'm like, that's enough for me to sell it.
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper was enough to begin with.
Exactly. Plus, it has one of my favorite Scream queens in it, Barbara Crampton, who actually plays Debbie Mazar's mother, who then falls in love with Dennis Hopper.
She was hot back in the day. She still is, but
I know.
Debbie Mazar is really hot still, but
yeah. But yes, that movie is definitely a buy, and there are only 15,000 or 1,500 copies of both those movies.
Yeah, that's why I made sure I pre-ordered it because I noticed that was one of their limited.
Yeah,
and I don't mind those.
Wait, only 1,500 of Space Truckers?
Yeah, only 1,500 Space Truckers.
They did the same thing with
what
was it, Doctor Strange and the other one? What was the other one they did?
And Watchers 2, which is about
almost out of. Yeah, I should get that one, but I don't.
I want Watchers 1 first.
I was gonna say I want Watchers 1. Damn it, that's the one that had Corey Haim in it.
Yeah, that was the better one, but Watchers 2 was good too. But
yeah, maybe I should before it's gone.
Is it you have to order it direct from what is it?
I think you have to get it directly from Scream and Shout Factory. Yeah, because the same thing happened. They did add extras to the Doctor Strange one because they sold out like right away.
Yep.
So I managed to get my hands on that one, but I think that's sold out now.
But speaking of Doctor Strange, that might come up tonight. Not Doctor Strange specifically, but another doctor might come up tonight on our show.
Interesting.
My show.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about Shout and Scream later on your show as well.
Yes.
Moving on, what else did we get?
We finally got the release date for Blue Hawaii on 4K, starring Elvis. November 1st on Blu-ray. So, yeah. Or 4K, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Blu-ray.
Yeah, because we're getting that one's been the only one that's been confirmed, right? Because there's been a few other ones that have been rumored, I think.
This is the only one that's been confirmed is Blue Hawaii. Yeah, that's the only one that's been confirmed.
But I would imagine within the next year or so, we'll probably get most of his major films probably in 4K. Yeah. Not all of them, but like Blue Hawaii, Jailhouse Rock, probably.
I want Jailhouse Rock. That's my favorite.
What's the racing one?
Oh, shoot, I don't remember, but yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, but like Viva Las Vegas, the main like half dozen or whatever. When does Baz Luhrmann's film come out? Well, it's been out on digital for a while. I believe it comes out on, when does it come out on disc? Not too long from now.
I didn't see anything about that yet, so we'll find out soon. Yes, John Carpenter's Elvis is on Blu-ray from Shout. It's a great movie, by the way.
Looks like it's supposed to be out the 13th of September, so not too much longer. I was going to say, not too much longer here. It can't be. Because usually the VOD comes out about a month to maybe a month and a half at most. The longest between a VOD release and the video release that I'm going to say, Top Gun, hands down right now, right, Valiant?
Right.
Sorry,
He's
I had to unmute. No, I was talking. I was like, wait, I got to unmute first. I got to move the cursor. Yeah, no. So I bought it on PVOD yesterday. I bought it on iTunes. I spent my $20. Paid homage to the gods at Paramount, the Skydance with Tom Cruise, because why not? But yeah, I've had it on pre-order on 4K since June 15th. Whenever that we did a show, the day it was announced, and that's not shipping till November 1st. So yeah, they put a good long lead. And like I said, it's on streaming, quote unquote, but it's not, it's not a VOD. It's not available on demand. They will release it for rental. So if you don't want to spend the $20 now, but you don't want to wait to watch it again till November 1st, cool. You're going to have to wait till September, I think it's 20th or 21st. And that's
for the
when
rental price.
Rentals, yeah, for $4 or $5 or whatever they put that out.
Okay, so they're doing the flip-flop basically of what Bond did, because Bond had it to where you can only rent it at first, even though I think it was like $20.
Was it?
And then I think so. And then you couldn't buy it, I don't think, for a few weeks.
Okay, well that's
I could be wrong, but I swear I remember that. So it was basically the flip-flop.
Yeah, well, I don't blame them. I mean, it's like, hey, let's get those early adopters now. We're not going to hand out physical media. We'll hand out digital sales right now, and then we know you're going to have those physical media collectors on down the road, idiots like me that are going to buy it again, because I will. I mean, not for every movie, but I'm going to do it for this one.
Right.
Yep, don't blame you.
Well, and is the digital version the IMAX version?
No, I don't think so. Actually, I didn't get all the way through it. I watched the first 15 minutes. I might get it tonight. Last night.
If I get time, I might watch it tonight. I haven't bought it yet, but I can't. I haven't heard yet. Did I hear the digital version? I couldn't swear I heard something about it.
Yeah, I haven't heard nothing about the digital, but I
can't remember now. But I know for a fact the 4K Blu-ray is going to be the IMAX version. So
yeah, we talked about that one. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
and Boba Fett says varying aspects. So yeah, I guess.
Okay, so they use the same. Like I said, you know what? I didn't think I wasn't paying attention. I got through 15 minutes of it. The phone rang last night. And I never got back to it before it was too late, because I said, if I press play on this movie again, it's 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I'm going to piss everyone off. Because it's not going to be, ain't going to be playing quiet.
I've been there before. I was surprised nobody yelled at me when I was watching Child's Play in 4K. It was like 9 o'clock at night, and everybody was asleep except me. So I was surprised nobody was yelling at me.
You filthy slut! I'll teach you to
fuck with me. That's when I watch movies. My wife isn't even home
it's
yet.
It's my favorite line in that fucking movie. When my buddy and I used to rewind that just over and over because we thought it was hilarious. Talk to me, damn it, or I'm throwing you into the fire. You stupid bitch, you filthy slut, I'll teach you to fuck with me.
That's a good one.
Classic. I got shot and it hurt. It hurt like a son of a bitch, it even bled. Shouldn't show your clients where you keep things like this.
This is great. It's such a great movie.
Your own personal mojo, Doc.
God.
I love Child's Play. Oh yeah, the Apple's soundtrack was really good. Not a huge upgrade from the 5.1, but still very well done. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chucky jumping all over the car.
That was a
good scene too.
That was a good one.
Oh, there's so much good stuff in there.
It is.
It's like,
man.
you can't even call it a horror movie. I mean, it's really not. It's just.
Well,
it's
by the
fun.
time you get to the fourth one, that's what I loved about Bride of Chucky is it was just. It's like we're just throwing caution to the wind here. Let's just make this basically a romantic comedy at this point. Just in the only way Chucky could be,
It was good, yeah. But yeah,
what
okay.
What would Martha Stewart say?
Fuck Martha. Oops.
Fuck Martha
We've
Stewart.
only said it 47 times on the show already, Greg. I don't think anybody cares.
Yeah, at this point, I think we killed that. It's already 39 minutes in.
We messed it up.
Let's finish up this news and rumors because we actually have a video to watch, which is a rarity here.
Which is very interesting. I want to get to that. The
Is
Running
it
Man.
in 4K?
Sadly, no.
No. The Running Man 4K Steelbook is coming out. It will be available November 1st with the slipcover, which is it's not like the Lionsgate slipcovers. It's like a real slipcover. So you can pre-order that now. I know.
I'll be back. Only
I actually like that
reruns.
I know some people don't like it, but I like it.
Oh, I love.
Hey, Killian!
I've actually had the 4K digital version now for almost 2 years. That's why I'm finally surprised we're finally getting it. It's like, geez,
finally.
time.
Yeah. That's why I kept looking. I'm like, I thought I had it in 4K. I have it in 4K on digital. That's exactly what it is. Like the last physical media copy I had was the blue. So
I don't even know if I have the Blu-ray, to be honest with you. I think I jumped straight from the DVD to the 4K digital. It's not one of my most favorite Schwarzenegger or Stephen King films to begin with, but it's one of those movies that's a lot of fun, right? You forget how fun it is until you're like, oh yeah, Running Man, that was a lot of fun. Then you watch it, it's like, oh yeah, it's a lot more fun than I remember it being.
It really is. I've always loved it. Like every time it came on, I'd stop and watch it. Like I haven't watched it in a few months. Shit, I'm gonna have to watch it tonight now.
It's definitely one of those movies where when you'd flip around on cable and it was on, you'd be like, you'd catch yourself just stopping on it, right? You know,
right.
And then you got like Richard Dawson playing the perfect fucking villain in it, and
oh man, he stole the show in that movie.
Oh, totally. And then who else is in it? Isn't Jesse the Body Ventura in that one too? Yep. Or who was? I was gonna say there's a couple other supporting cast that's really
awesome the woman that's
Jim Brown was in it.
Jim Brown, that's what I was trying to think of. Thank you.
And it introduced deep fake to the world. Running Man did.
That's true. I remember thinking that the last time I watched it. Thank you, Greg. I was like, oh shit, they got another one. Not only did they predict reality TV and shit like Survivor, and they even had that extreme sports game after a while. I can't remember what the hell it was called, where that person damn near broke their fucking neck on it. Extreme obstacle course or whatever the fuck it was. Like, they pre-predicted so much of this shit, and then it's like, oh shit, they even got deep fake, right?
and look, they had the right name. It's they used a matting technique, and that's when Richard Dawson's like, activate traveling mat, and they wind up putting a Jesse Ventura and Schwarzenegger's head on two stunt doubles, and killing each other basically. Where it's just.
Yeah,
climbing
we're there,
for
folks.
dollars.
It's all real. So the Unreal Engine 5 in 1984.
Yeah, it's such a great movie too, man. It's just so fun.
Oh yeah, Mia Fleetwood was in it too. That's right. Thank you, Brahma. Hey, how you doing, Brahma?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. It was he's in that. I forgot all about that.
He was the leader of the underground. Guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun one. I can't wait for that one. What else you got for us, Greg? Because I do have an update on ET when we get there. So why don't we just jump to that?
Yeah, just go ahead, because all I got left is the ET, the Universal Monsters, and then the Tarantino stuff.
Oh, we're right on time then. So yeah, for those who want to know, the ET is not just a re-release of before. So it is the same HDR10 only version of the film. They didn't do for some reason they didn't go back and put Dolby Vision on it, and I don't know why. But you do get a couple of new extras. The extras are as follows. I believe the first 2 or 3 here are the new stuff. 40 Years of E.T. the Extraterrestrial, that's brand new. Turner Classic Movies Classic Film Festival and Evening with Steven Spielberg. I believe those are the 2 new additions to this set, because the rest, I believe, is already stuff that's been on the other edition previously. But if you haven't had the 4K release prior to this, this is what you can expect. The E.T. Journals, if I remember correctly, is a great documentary around 90 or 2 hours long, 90 minutes to 2 hours long. Deleted Scenes, Steven Spielberg and E.T., A Look Back, The Evolution and Creation of E.T., the E.T. Reunion, which comes in from the 20th anniversary. The Music of E.T. Also comes from the 20th anniversary. 20th anniversary premiere obviously comes from the 20th anniversary. The E.T. Ride, Designs, Photographs, and Marketing, Theatrical Trailer, Special Olympics TV Spot, and that seems to round it all off with that part, and then the rest is just physical swag goes along with it. And for the price, it's not too bad. Now, I kind of hope that we're going to get something similar to this for Jaws.
That'd be nice.
That'd be kind of cool, too. Yeah, especially if they decide to release it in 3D. That'd be even cooler.
Just buy Jaws 3D.
Is Elf in it? Sure. I can't say no, because he is technically an alien life form. I mean...
It's true.
Elliot.
I mean, E.T. is in Star Wars, so
he is in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Vote now, vote now, vote now. In case you're wondering which scene.
Yep.
Jack White says, did you guys see Doomcock's latest Star Wars video? Surprise, surprise. KK wants to remake the OG trilogy with Leia as a hero. Likelihood of this happening. I don't think they can, Jack. I don't think they can. I heard something about a stipulation that all the movies, once they're movies, they're canon. So they can't fuck with anything. And that was George
I'm sure she'd
Lucas's-
love to. The question
that
is,
was-
would she have the authority to do that? And I would say the answer is no.
I don't think
There's
so.
no way they're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars, going back down that rabbit hole again. That's why they haven't made any movies to this point, because they lost so much with the first, sequel trilogy 3 that they did.
Well, if what I heard was true, then that adds validity to the whole idea that George would kind of be short-sighted enough to add like some kind of clause that no other versions can be released, and those versions are canon. You can't remake them and all that kind of stuff, just so he could make sure his special editions stay in place and they
Hopefully
wouldn't
he
try
did.
to circumvent and release the theatrical cuts. But what that also does is keep the sequel trilogy into play no matter what. Because I'm going off of a lot of what Favreau said.
Right.
But it just goes to stand to reason. If Disney could release the original trilogy unaltered, they would have. Guaranteed. Even if it was just to promote Disney Plus, they would have.
Right.
Because
I
we
don't
know
think-
they
yeah.
exist. It's like
Yep.
this thing where every once in a while you get an invite only and get a screening of the original film at Disney without the alterations. That's the only way you can see it, though, technically. Technically, quotations.
There's other ways.
Unnatural
Unnatural
to the
some.
Jedi.
But no.
Exactly. Yeah. So on that, not in our lifetime, I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's like a 50 years after my death clause in there, like
Oh, yeah,
Hitchcock kind of had.
I guarantee as soon as he's out and he's dead or something, they'll find a way
Maybe.
to remake him. Just like I'm afraid for the Back to the Futures, once Robert Zemeckis and them are gone, it's I'd hate to see what they do with that.
Well, Hitchcock was smart, and Kubrick, I think it was too. They kind of had a similar thing where it's really difficult to do anything with their movies
Right.
because they've got stipulations over them. Like that was the whole thing. Like sequels. That's why the sequel to Psycho 2 didn't happen until the 80s, because they had a specific amount of time before they could do any remakes, sequels, or television shows based on his films, and that's how long they had to wait. So same thing with the Birds. That's why we got a Birds 2 in the 80s
Yeah.
or whatever it was, or early 90s, whatever it was. Yeah.
That was a bad movie. But yeah, I guess we can get to this. And we have the official confirmation for the 4K Universal Classic Monsters.
Yeah.
Volume 2, you'll get The
Volume
Mummy,
2.
Bride of Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera, and Creature from the Black Lagoon on October 11th.
She hate me.
So there you go. You have that one.
I love The Bride of Frankenstein. It's a great fucking movie.
Oh yeah, it's down. You want to talk about it like a superior sequel, Bride of Frankenstein,
Yeah.
right?
Which is weird because it's technically still part of the same book,
Right.
but it is the superior of the two. I agree.
It is. It is the superior. This is the best one.
So that, I think, leaves us to the two big rumors going around.
The Tarantino ones. We've been
Yeah.
hearing about possibly Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, and was that coming to 4K? I think it was. Was that announced?
Yes.
4K, and it looks like we are getting a Pulp Fiction 4K steelbook. It looks like it may be available pre-order soon, so we'll have to
And
see
I'm
about
assuming
that.
these will be coming
in
from
November.
Paramount.
Yeah, I haven't found, but I would assume it's Paramount. It's probably Pulp Fiction guaranteed in Kill Bill. So yeah,
If it's the whole bloody affair, I hope so, because that means it's not just one full cut of the movie, which whatever, it's still going to probably end up on 2 discs anyway, because
Yeah.
it's so fucking long. But what
Yeah.
it does do is add in footage that's not in the theatrical cuts, and also has that one scene that's all in black and white and color.
right.
So that's one of the reasons I'm looking. And Kill Bill is one of those that I just fucking like. It keeps bouncing around in my top 4 or 5, maybe 3, but like, because every movie Tarantino comes out with is like almost better than the last, so it's tough to keep my order. But still, Kill Bill manages to stay up there because it's just so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
And the first and second film are so different from each other because the first film is more like an anime meets a kung fu film, and the second film is a spaghetti western meets a kung fu film. So it's like, you know, there's these two sides of the film that are amazing. The cast is great, the music's great. Same thing with Pulp Fiction. Not only is it probably up there with being my second favorite behind Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it's definitely in my top films of all time on top of that. Right? Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has to sit with me for a while before it winds up on the all-time list, but like Pulp Fiction's a movie I will fucking quote on the daily. Right? Like if anybody knows me, like that is one of my movies that I love, and just Tarantino is just one of my dudes. And this is something I've been looking forward to. I can't believe it if we actually get Reservoir Dogs and this year in 4K. That'll be more than enough. But if we get Kill Bill on top of it all,
that's crazy. Just to think
that's a hell of a
man.
trifecta right there.
I mean, Tarantino in 4K. That's to talk about, you know, and hopefully it's better than what was it? Than Glorious Bastards 4K master.
Yeah, hopefully he'll fix that.
Yeah.
And I think the reason for that, Greg, is that they have I think Tarantino has a similar stipulation like Cameron has, and that is he has to approve whatever master they use. So hopefully Tarantino calls them out on that and be like, you guys just fucking used my Blu-ray master, okay? I approve that. I did not approve this fucking garbage that looks like somebody snotted all over my fucking movie. What the fuck is this, all right?
Hopefully, I mean, because I mean, win-win, man. Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, this, Kill Bill. That's just it's got to be a great time to be a collector right now. I guarantee that, man.
So, Valiant, what's your reaction to these Tarantino films being announced or semi-announced, rumored? Let's say for now.
Yeah. Well, Pulp Fiction. You know, very excited to see that. It's been a while since I've really watched it, and having a really beautiful transfer from 4K would be a great place.
Say what again? Say what one more goddamn time. I dare you. I double dare you,
English
motherfucker.
And what ain't no country I ever heard of, motherfucker? I could. Anyway, but Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs coming out. I'd love to see, you know, the other ones. You know, Jackie Brown. You know, I'd love to see. Somebody mentioned Hateful Eight in the chat. They didn't like it. Well, I liked it. I loved Hateful Eight, but I know that's more recent, so that's a little bit different.
Catch the extended cut. It's even better though.
Oh yeah, no, I have. Yeah.
No, I was talking to the individual in the chat because I didn't love Hateful Eight the first time I saw it. Same thing with Django. Those both took a second viewing, and the third viewing of Hateful Eight, I saw the extended cut on Netflix. Infinitely better. There's so much missing from that movie. So anyway, continue. My bad.
No, there is. But I'd love to see him keep on going down the line and even pulling out even some of the lesser known, lesser loved ones that I still enjoy from time to time, like Four Rooms. You know, that was still a bucket of fun. With
well, his segment is still the best one.
Yeah. And I love doing you know, going back and picking up some of these old movies and doing these kind of collections where, you know, you see a director like this, like we had with Coppola, where he just starts picking through his library and like, oh, I'm gonna make The Outsiders. Oh, now I'm gonna do Godfather. Oh, now he's gonna keep pulling them out. Great. Let's see that with Tarantino. Let's see that. Get Jackie Brown. You know, one of my favorites of his. So many good ones. I mean, I don't know if I've ever sat through a Tarantino flick where I said this was just bad. I don't remember. You know, some of them obviously I liked less or more than others, but that's to be expected anyway.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, his level, like, yeah, that's the, you know, like I kind of that explanation that Bill Murray gives about how dirty laundry works. You know, I have varying levels of dirty laundry. It's like,
yeah,
I have varying levels of Tarantino. Like, they're all like almost 10 out of 10 films across the board, but then you have to go and really get into the minutia to be like, well, of course, this one's technically in that much better than the other one. Story-wise, this one's better, maybe, and this and that and the other. But like, you know, it's like, it's tough for me if somebody asks me to give them my order of his films. It's like, well, fuck you. Why don't you make me pick my favorite child? You know?
Right.
That's why I hate to say it, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is probably just the culmination of everything that makes him great. So that's probably why I have to put that at the very top right now. But that could just be new car smell
It could be. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because I would have
was
said like
good.
Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction right off the bat, but oh man, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood gets me every time I see it. But speaking of which, I see a super chat there from Dr. Chico for $2 that says, I would buy Jackie Brown on 4K so fast. This is rumor, actually. That actually also may be getting a 4K.
Yeah, we brought that up a few weeks ago. I'm surprised that didn't go hand in hand with
Keaton
Out of
showing
Sight.
up all over the place again.
Well, not only that, it's kind of a sister film to Out of Sight. It's not technically a sequel because they're not under the same umbrella, but they do share Michael Keaton and a connectivity through the Elmore Leonard situation. So, and they were kind of like not a co-production, but that was kind of the whole funny joke, was that they both got Michael Keaton to play the same part in the movies, was the whole point.
Yeah. But I did see somebody, one of the guys who does physical media type shows that I watch, on YouTube. I think his name was Mid-Level Media. He said he could possibly be coming to 4K. So, and I know you guys brought it up too. So,
yeah, I like him. He's cool. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not so sure that one's going to come in this quarter or next quarter.
I wouldn't
be till 2000.
Yeah,
they're going to have to spread some of these out a little bit. The beauty of it, though, is majority of Tarantino's films are all under the Miramax banner, so most of them you could probably slap in a box set, and Paramount bought the Miramax catalog last year. The only outliers being Reservoir Dogs, I believe, was under Live Entertainment, even though Weinstein's produced it. So then that in turn got transferred over to Lionsgate through the various sales over the years. So that's the only one besides the last few that are not under the same banner. From Django on, or Inglourious Bastards, Django are under Universal, and the latest one is under Columbia. So we will never probably get a full on Tarantino box set anytime soon. He did one a few years back, but that's like the closest I think we'll ever get as a definitive box set at that point. But it'll be cool to see all the films come out, because I wouldn't be surprised if he's got 4K masters run of all of them. He'd be somebody that makes sense, because he loves film and he loves the look of film, and I'm sure he understands the quality that 4K can offer. And that's why I'm surprised he hasn't said shit about Inglourious Bastards yet.
I know. That is a bit of a surprise. Maybe he's waiting for like these to come out for a case. Say, see, this is how you do it. Maybe. But I think that's about it for all the news and rumors for those.
So before we get into the Matt Damon thing, we had another one from Jack White. He says, so basically what you're saying is that they can't decanonize the god-awful KK trilogy. Lovely. Yeah, sadly, that's what it sounds like, and that's per Favreau himself, going by what he was saying.
Yep.
In so many words, Django was brutal. It took me two viewings before I kind of came. I didn't like it the first time so much. I'm like, this might be my least favorite of his films. And then after the second viewing, I'm like, you know what? I prejudged this movie too much. But with that, Valliant, before we get into the other part of this conversation, did you have any newer movies that you picked up this last week that you wanted to discuss real quick or anything like that?
I'm trying to think what I've gotten in since we talked. I mean, we talked last week. I don't think I've gotten anything new. Okay. I did get that copy of Dune that we talked about last week. 2000, and it played fine. But of course, I'm playing it in a 4K player. But but it apparently ripped its way through its region, whatever Blu-ray. So
I don't think if it's the newer one, I don't think there's any region locking on it. So
I didn't have an issue with it, but no, apart from that, I know we talked about Child's Play last week, and I've really nothing. I don't think anything new has come in since then.
I'm trying to think what I got new this week. I think most of it was
got a broken fishing rod. That's about it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Most of my stuff was classic releases. Like I went and grabbed a few of the Shout and Scream titles that were going out of print. I'm kind of glad I did, because one of them I'm going to bring up tonight later on Greg's channel.
I wish I would have bought carbon copy myself.
I got lucky. I found one for a really good price. So I'll if worse comes worse, I'll hook you up. But I know
that's one, like you said, that one's definitely not going to get another re-release.
I I wouldn't expect it to get a 4K release anytime soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it.
And then ActionCom points out that Bullet Train is a love letter to Quentin, or he asks, is it a love letter to Quentin Tarantino? Well, I think you've seen it, Valiant, have you not?
Yeah. Yeah,
what would you say?
Oh, there's definitely some Tarantino elements to it. There's some Guy Ritchie element to it. Obviously, just based on the cast and the way they do. I mean, just the banter between the two British guys. It's like something that's straight out of Snatch. It's just hilarious. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of little homages and stylistic signatures in there from a number of different directors and writers of years gone by.
Yeah, and then Jack White says, can they retcon the KK trilogy or not? From my understanding, no.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They may be able to circumvent it somehow through some kind of multiverse shit, but I wouldn't count on it.
In the long run, look, Disney's big enough; they can really do whatever the hell they want with it. Because somebody would have to sue them and take them to court.
I was just going to say it's easier for them to just do it and ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission.
Exactly. They can do whatever the hell they want with it.
And yeah, True Romance is an amazing fucking film, and that actually feels like a Tarantino movie. Not so much Natural Born Killers, but that's a personal debate. Tommy Review says, name of that Indiana Jones type movie from earlier.
Gwendolyn.
Gwendolyn?
Gwendolyn.
Can you type it? Gwendolyn. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, I think it's that might be spelled Line at the end.
Okay, close enough though.
So, yeah, it's also known as Gwendolyn in the Perils of Yik Yak. So,
and where was that coming from?
Camera Obscura. It's a foreign company.
Okay, so you might be able to get that through Amazon, but you might have to look out for some other outlets.
I do know. I think that Amazon does have because it was released once before in a big 4K box set. I think Amazon has that one, and that's like $100. But this one is coming. It's just a single 4K thing of it. So it'll probably be around, I don't know, maybe $40, maybe $50. We'll see. They usually typically drop in price.
You're almost better off getting the box set then.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really sure because I haven't seen that one on Amazon yet. So we'll see how that is when it releases September 2nd, by the way.
But yeah, no, I currently have not. I mean, I did get some of the newer stuff from last week. I didn't get a chance to watch Jurassic World. I just flipped it on for a few minutes to check it out because I believe it was mastered in 4K. Now I think that. I can't tell whether or not the special effects are up converted or not. They look pretty good. I got to say, this is one of the better looking newer 4K releases I've seen. I didn't get to watch the whole movie though, so I just watched like the first 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And I seen so they're just adding back in like the one short film and bits of that, and that's also separate on there. And I don't know what else is added in, so I didn't get through it all, but. It's not the worst of the Jurassic films, but it's definitely one of the better of the Jurassic World films, that's for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's about the closest I came. Otherwise, I'll be talking about the other stuff I watched tonight. So
cool.
What about you, Greg? Any new 4Ks or anything new?
No new 4Ks, but I did actually just get a movie delivered while we're live.
That's always cool.
Yes. I was going to, if it was supposed to be here earlier, and I was going to watch it and bring it on tonight. But we'll see if I get a chance to watch it. But it's Back to the Beach. So.
Oh yeah, I got that one. Like
Frankie Avalon back.
Frankie. Yep, Back to the Beach.
I got that one like 2 weeks ago or whatever it was that it came.
Yeah, I finally just broke down and got it. So. So that was just delivered while we were talking. So. But that's
Jed
about
said
it.
You watched the extended cut. Is it really good? Any better? Any worse? I know it's like 15 minutes longer. And then Pete Den wants to know, do you lads think it's worth replacing existing Blu-ray to 4K or just get 4K for future purchases? Replacing my DVDs to Blu-ray cost me a fortune. Yeah, I hear you, brother. And at least with Blu-rays, the price went down really quick. And you're kind of seeing the same thing with 4K. I would say be selective. Blu-ray, for the most part, is good enough. Like, there's a couple of 4K discs where I was like, meh, I didn't really need the upgrade. Future proofing is always good. That's how kind of I started my collection, is I just made sure I bought one that had both the 4K and the Blu-ray, or if worse comes to worse, at least a digital version of it. But I would say if it's something that you love and you think you're going to watch a lot and could benefit from the upgrade, go for it.
Yeah.
But probably like most comedies, drama, unless it's something that's a really well shot film. That's the thing, is most movies that are older films, I would probably recommend most of them in 4K, but like there's a very few newer films, let's say, that I could recommend in 4K. Jurassic World being one of the few exceptions in recent months that I would say that the 4K probably is a better looking picture than the Blu-ray. Valiant, what about you? You're somebody who used to work in the consumer side of this, so yeah, what would you say to this?
Look, it depends on personal preference, right? Definitely at this point, Pete, I would tell you, if you're buying anything new, buy it in 4K. It doesn't make any sense at this point to buy new stuff in Blu-ray. Now, again, of course, the exception being if there's a really bad review, on Blu-ray.com or something like that that says, "Oh, this transfer was absolutely atrocious. Stick with your Blu-ray." I have selectively upgraded some of my Blu-rays over the years of just movies that I really liked, and provided that when the new 4K version of that film came out, that I was able to, again, like I just discussed, get from a source that's trusted, a trusted reviewer that tells you whether or not this is a worthy upgrade, yes or no. So like we've talked about before, it's Blu-ray.com. It's blue-ray.com. I like their
One of
articles.
the best sources, yeah.
Yeah, I love their write-ups. And you can, they'll give it out of 5 stars. If how does it do? And I mean, if you get a 4K, new version of a 4K film where the Blu-ray was like a 4.5, but the new 4K comes out and it's a 3 or a 3.5, a lot of times I'll skip it. If it comes out as a 4, 4.5, 5, I'm all over it. So, that's what I'm looking for. So don't feel like you have to upgrade everything. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's best. And I don't know if you have anything more to add to that, Greg, or not, but
Oh yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, if you guys want to check out a video I did, not to promote myself, but I did do a video. If you don't want 4K, that's okay. I agree with Valiant. I agree with Tom there. Some of the best 4Ks to get, older films that are actually shot on film. If you really feel like you want to upgrade to that, do that. But Blu-ray is fine. Blu-ray is fine if that's, you don't feel if you don't feel the need to upgrade everything to 4K, you don't have to.
Sometimes you got to go with what you got too. Like if you're somebody who's stuck in a situation where you can't get a really big TV, like say 42 or whatever inches is the biggest TV you can get. Depending on how far away you sit from your television, it's debatable how much quality you're gaining. So like if you're somebody who's in a situation like that, it may not even be worth your money in the long run. But yeah, I'd say go with what we were recommending. For future proofing yourself, good idea. As far as classic films go, by whatever you feel necessary to upgrade, and check out the digital bits as well, besides Blu-ray.com, especially if you're somebody who's into special features, because especially those guys will point out what features are being carried over and what's not. That's my source for that kind of stuff usually. Then Jack White points out that he sent me another email, thank you for that, buddy, with a link to an old TV promo for Yu Yu Hakusho. I'll have to check that out and see if it looks interesting to me. Thank you for that, Jack White. So let's get into this, because I know you're limited on time here, Greg.
Yes, the kids are starting to get a little so
the crowd's getting restless. Well, maybe you got about a minute 40, because I think you've seen this video.
Yeah.
So if you got to step away for a minute to check that out.
This is the one you were talking about with the the hot pepper show with Matt. Yeah. So
this dropped, and Matt brings up some very interesting points here about home media, and I think that we have a very interesting point of view on this, or we could have a very interesting point of view on this, and I think a very interesting, if not brief, discussion on it right after we check out the video here. So we'll give Greg a minute or two to step away and deal with the chitlins while we watch this video again, to refresh those who may have not seen it. This is the first time, but if you have seen it, it's from First We Feast.
I think a scenario lots of viewers can relate to is sitting on the couch on a Friday night, going through the streaming services, cycling through the movies, and thinking to themselves, they're not making movies for me anymore. As somebody who's been intimately involved in movie making for 30 years, what are the macro Hollywood conditions behind that sentiment?
Well, so what happened was the DVD was a huge part of our business, of our revenue stream. And technology has just made that obsolete. And so the movies that we used to make, you could afford to not make all of your money when it played in the theater, because you knew you had the DVD coming behind the release, and 6 months later you'd get all, a whole nother chunk. It would be like reopening the movie almost. And when that went away, that changed the type of movies that we could make. I did this movie Behind the Candelabra, and I talked to a studio executive who explained it was a $25 million movie. I would have to put that much into print and advertising, right, to market it, what we call P&A. So I'd have to put that in P&A. So now I'm in $50 million. I have to split everything I get with the exhibitor, right, the people who own the movie theaters. So I would have to make $100 million before I got into profit. And the idea of making $100 million on a story about like this love affair between these two people, yeah, I love everyone in the movie, but that's suddenly a massive gamble in a way that it wasn't in the 1990s when they were making all those kind of movies, the kind of movies that I loved and the kind of movies that were my bread and butter.
So
yeah, there you go. There you have it. Exactly what we've been talking about on Midnight's Edge, on my channel.
Yep.
That's it. Everything we've been saying, you cannot keep shutting down the secondary, the tertiary markets, the pay one, pay two windows, all these things. Disney is the worst culprit of this for sure, because they're not licensing any of their crap out to anyone. It's all in-house. And that's exactly it. So there you go. There you have it. What have I been saying when I talk about box office on Valiant Renegade all this time? $25 million movie. They spent another 25. You got to make $100 million in the theater for that 25 million.
And that's even a simplified version of it, right, Valiant? And that's just going off of the fact that, okay, we're just assuming that Matt Damon himself is ponying up the 25 million for the production, right? Because he's talking about keeping, X amount. Because if you have other producing partners and stuff and a studio involved, that's getting chunked up even deeper, right? You're looking at, he might get a third. So that means he's got to triple that then, right? So that's the problem we have here in a situation where what he's getting at here, some people were taking this as, oh, DVD is dying, DVD is dying. No. What this is about is the industry is killing itself by converting, or whatever the term is I'm looking for, all of its efforts towards streaming and in-house streaming services than it is by going through the typical avenues of the release window, as we've talked about time and time and time again, and which they brought up in the recent Warner Brothers earnings.
Correct. Yeah, you can't front load everything into, put it in the theater and then dump it immediately onto your own proprietary streaming service. There's no money to be made. And I mean, granted, some of these streaming services will have advertising based tier, as HBO Max does, but for most of their subscribers that do not have advertising, they can't attribute any money to that film once it hits there, or the show or something. They can say, well, okay, we have this much in monthly subscriber revenue, but you're not. Again, look at Universal. Look at what they just pulled off. They're getting $1 billion plus each from Amazon and Netflix for live action and animation, respectively. And that's with the first 4 months of the pay one window on Peacock.
Well, if you can allow me to just interrupt for one second, I'm very sorry, Valiant, but Greg has to leave us, so I'm going to give him a real quick. I know you got to go. Your thoughts on this, real fast, buddy? And I'm sorry you got to leave.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry about that. The kids.
Kids happen.
Yeah, I'm glad that Matt Damon brought something up like this, which is weird that you don't typically hear from Hollywood. But I agree, it's something that a lot of us been talking about. I cover it, that's why I say support physical media. And it really wasn't the people that stopped buying the DVDs and stuff. It's pretty much the companies that shifted everything over to PVOD and streaming and everything, and they're the ones trying to kill this. And like Valiant said, Disney is the biggest offender of them all. So, yeah, just keep buying your physical media and stuff.
Well, maybe we'll discuss this later, Greg. But thank you for being here, buddy. As always, I really hate that you got to leave, but I know how it is.
I'm sorry. It's just sometimes they get they honestly they freak out when I come in here. They think I'm leaving, and I don't know why. So they can only handle it so long. So
all right, no worries, buddy. Take care of yourself, and we'll discuss this later. But Valiant, you were take care. Check out Greg's channel, FanZcene. I'll be on there later with him. But so you were talking about basically how streaming is basically destroying the economy of the studios in so many ways.
It is. Yeah, because you can't do films like this anymore. This is the kind of film where you have one option. If Matt Damon wants to make his movie, he has to make it and sell it directly to a streamer. That's basically it now. And that sounds crazy, but that really is all there is to it, because it's like you said, the minute you have to go, or the minute you want to take a film and put it into a theater, you have to commit to a marketing campaign. It's not just, well, you have to commit to it because you want to try to sell tickets. No, what he's referring to, and maybe a lot of people don't realize this, and I don't know if I've talked about this as much. When you sign on with AMC, or you sign on with Cinemark or whomever, Regal, IMAX, I don't give a damn. They have demands on the distributor. They're not just going to take a film from a distributor and slap it in the theater and go, well, let's see what happens. No, they will command a certain amount of marketing spend from that distributor to advertise that motion picture. So they can't, and it usually is tied to the budget, right? There's some kind of minimum. Like, you want to give us $100 million picture, well, you're going to have to spend, at least 75 million, let's say, or something. I mean, it's not that simple, but movie theaters do demand that the movie studios are going to have to pay for the marketing of those films to get people into those theaters. So that's what he's talking about. But if you bypass that and you just say, well, look, I have to make $100 million in theaters just to get 50 back. That 50 would just cover my costs, because I'd have to spend 25 million, as Damon said, in that case, minimum, to market the film. And of course, we'd only be talking about a small release, like maybe 1,500, 2,000 screens in some big markets. It wouldn't be a big wide, you're not going to get 4,000 screens with that. Or save the 25 million and just take a $40 million check from Netflix or Apple TV or something for that $20 million budgeted film and walk away. Now, you're not getting an Oscar for it. You're not getting, now maybe Apple will take it and put it, do a limited run in a couple of theaters, or whatever the minimum you have to get nominated for, certain Oscars. I don't know what the rules are, but that's more and more.
It used to be that way, but yeah, since COVID, so much shit has changed, dude, that I have no idea, to be honest with you.
And I think it's going to continue to, because the more that studios dump crap straight to streaming, the more you're going to have, I presume, a lot of Academy members kind of bouncing up and down saying, look, we're going to have to change where this line is drawn from now on, or something, because there's going to be a lot of very good projects that never see the light of a big screen ever. And it's because they're just, it's like he's talking about, and these are frankly, these are the kind of artsy fartsy films that Hollywood usually awards an Oscar, right? At least a headline Oscar, above the line Oscar, let's call it. So I don't know, but he's absolutely right. Everything he said, and it just goes to confirm all the stuff we've been talking about since forever and a day ago.
And on the note of sales, like Pete Dencat says, isn't DVD still a big seller? A lot of people can't see the difference between DVD and HD. The weirdos, aha. You're not wrong, Pete. Like, it used to be a lot more discrepancy. Like, it was like 80% of the sales were DVD.
I haven't seen DVDs. I don't even know.
But the sales now have gone down to about 60% of overall sales. But at the same time, Blu-ray and HD DVD have gone up. And 4K has seen a big jump, actually, I believe. Oh, yeah. And actually, yeah, this is what I posted on this this very video. Here, I might be able to, where's the thing here? Boom. Yeah, DVD is not dead, but streaming is killing the industry. The DEG estimates that PVOD spending in the US reached $525 million in 2021, excluding Disney Plus Premier Access. So that's not including what little bumps that Black Widow and whatever could have gave it. But yeah.
Well, no. That wasn't, Black Widow wasn't a little bump. Didn't Disney claim that they had, wasn't it like 100 something million?
Yeah, but they still have to account for the fucking budget. So how much do you think they really cleared?
No. Okay, the DEG estimates that PVOD, that's premium video on demand spending in the US, was 525.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, so add another,
and that didn't include what they did for, they did a couple of them. Disney might have had another 200 million on top of that.
But even if you do add that 200 million on it, it still doesn't, it's not quite where disc is. And that's just rentals.
No. It's not.
It's 883. That doesn't even talk about sales. right? Because
Well,
sales
disc
are a
rentals,
little
now
bit
how do you
less, but
calculate that? I mean, just
they
based
go
on
through. I believe they go through because you know, you got like
you get
Redbox
Redbox, but how do you
and you
calculate
got
Netflix?
Netflix. I guess they must
People pay
report
a
them
monthly
still.
fee.
They must
No,
still report them.
I guess, but I mean, you're paying $10 a month, $15 a month for Netflix. That might be one disc. That might be 22. I mean, it's just you never know. I don't know how
However
they.
they figure it, I don't know.
Yeah. So
But I mean, that's what they're saying is it's still a viable business here. So I went by the numbers that were in this report.
yeah. Oh no, I think they're both still
I mean,
certainly
sales
viable.
is not quite as big as it used to be, but you know, again, I still think that was, I can't remember the number now, but the point is they're still a part of it. The only reason that I think that the sales are suffering more so than anything has to do with two big reasons, and that is mainly because the accessibility. You can't walk into a Walmart or a Best Buy anymore and just buy just about any movie, right?
Right.
You got to do this fucking scavenger hunt anymore to find a release or just get it through Amazon or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's one problem. And then the other problem is all, you know, people are just like, well, fuck it. I'll just wait for it to come on this streaming service or that streaming service, right? The ease of access has made it so. And a lot of those people, they're fine with that because they don't care about the quality as much as we do. And that goes to what Pete Den also asks here. And you're right, Pete, there's a lot of people who, it's not so much they can't see the difference, they just don't care. Right. And for them,
That's
DVD is
yeah.
good enough.
My business partner is like, he doesn't care. He's like, I got Blu-ray. It's fine. He said the same thing when Blu-ray came out. The DVD looks fine. Then he got the Blu-ray of Lord of the Rings, which he loves. And he's like, oh my God, yeah, that looks great. Now he's telling me the same thing. 4K came out. He's like, I can't see a difference. I can't see. I'm like, what are you watching? Have you really, you know, and some people are like that, and that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
But for, you know, if you've got a really good TV and you're really into movies, then definitely you need to be looking at 4K. You're going to appreciate it, especially like the stuff Tom and I love to talk about, the older movies. And it's not like it's ancient movies here. We're talking 20 plus years ago, 15 plus years ago, before the digital filming revolution came in. So all that stuff that was shot on film, like all these great 90s movies, these great 80s movies, those 4K transfers, when done right, my God, you've never seen anything. It looked better than it did in the theater.
Indeed. Yeah. And again, like there's also places that can't get really good internet access yet. And in those places, DVD and stuff like that are still a big deal. And this rental price might even include like libraries and stuff buying movies still too. Don't forget that. Yeah, that's actually one of the biggest sources for, I found this out. It's one of the biggest sources for people in rural areas who don't have good internet is they'll go to their public library now because they don't have any other fucking place to go.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
So like, and a lot of times they'll just deal with whatever they can get their hands on. See, that's the thing. It just shows that people they will watch entertainment. They want to be entertained. And I think that's why, you know, these re-releases are doing very well and things like Top Gun are doing well because they want to spend their money on something they know that they can trust. So
Yeah.
We'll see here how this works out in the future because I think Warner is going to play a big part in this going forward by proving to the industry that they're wrong by streamlining the whole situation. Like ActionCom brings up right here in this super chat, it says bottlenecking. When various revenue streams are eliminated and pressure is put on what is left over. Exactly. And that's what they're trying to do to these streaming services. And not only are they, it would be one thing if they were just cutting it down to the streaming aspect, but they're not even making money from any outside streaming services. It's all in-house. So you have basically what are loss leaders at this point. And if you're not releasing these films to theaters, that also takes away some of what their self-worth is, right? Mm-hmm. Because when we were young, I'm sure you've seen these magazines, but you can just go look them up. The video ads for just about any movie you can think of. Like, even if it was something that flopped in the theater, they would still make a big deal out of it being a theatrical release, especially during the age of straight to video.
Yeah. Because
at that point, it was your magazine was just chock full of straight to video crap. And then, you know, they would make sure that, oh, this movie with Tom Green in it was in theaters. It only made $12 million, but it still was in theaters.
Tom Green was in it.
And Tom Green was in it, you know, like.
Oh God. Thank you for reminding me that he exists.
No, I know,
God.
but like I'm just saying, like
No, I
even in
know,
the
I know.
worst movies of the worst movies, like they would still make a big deal out of it because it would add that much more. And as a video store, especially somebody who basically owned a rural video store, I had to look at that and going, okay, is it worth it more for me to get that stupid fucking Tom Green movie that more people know about because it was a theatrical release, or get like fucking Trancers 6, right? Which was a straight to video. Sometimes that's a pretty obvious fucking choice, even though more people probably would like Trancers 6. Only the 2 people that would rent that are going to enjoy it compared to the 24 people that rented Freddy Got Fingered.
Right,
so
yeah.
that's the difference, right? So
That's a good comparison.
unfortunately that's a problem, but no, bottlenecking in general is not good. And that's what what's his face was the other guy from the earnings call, not Zasloff, but the other guy, I can't think of his name, but
JB Perret.
JB Perez, thank you, was pointing out, like that we think this is stupid. The studios are thinking that this is going to make any money in the end. It's not.
Yeah.
Especially when, and I pointed this out months or years and years ago when this first all started coming to be. I'm like, how can they expect to make a profit when these streaming services cost less than a month than what you would spend on a movie to go buy the Blu-ray, right?
Yeah.
Like I can see that working sometimes, like for Wonder Woman 84 during the pandemic. I'm like, all right, I can see that they're going to take this as a situation where instead of us, going and buying the Blu-ray or seeing it in theaters, the monthly revenue for HBO Max goes for that big release. But even still, that's a lot less than they'd see on a DVD or Blu-ray release, and way less than they'd see on a theatrical release. So economically, these things do not make sense, especially at the type of level that a lot of these films have to be anymore. And that's kind of what Matt Damon's saying too, is you can't really make a movie for less than like 25, 30, 40 million dollars. Even a superhero film we know has got to be in the $100 million range in general usually.
Oh, at least. I mean, it's you cannot get away with making a quote unquote blockbuster for less than about 100 million these days. I mean, really. I mean, not especially when you get to the super action, superhero, whatever crap. I mean, it's
exactly.
It's you have so much post production that you have to do in those things that you have to start with. Well, okay, it's gonna cost us, 30 million to do principal photography, and then we're gonna spend the other 70 in post.
That's just it. And I said it before, like, yeah, you can get away with making some of these type of movies for a little less, but even Deadpool proved you can't really do one of these A-list blockbuster type superhero movies without spending at least $100 to $120 million. Because even though they boasted about that film only costing $80 million, and it looks like it, they ended up getting the shit suit out of them because they didn't pay their fucking animators.
Yeah.
Right. So, and there's not even that much CGI in there, really, if you stop to think about it at the end of the day. But it's even if you so you factor in the amount that cost. It's like, yeah, so something for like The Flash costing $200 million, I can understand that. Mm-hmm. And you cannot continue to make these kind of movies and not have a DVD window and a PVOD window prior to that or whatever. And, then you have the video and the digital versions you can buy. They have to reinstate a rental window. I won't be surprised if that doesn't happen in the next couple of years. I can see it happening where we'll have a situation where the movie will come out and then you can rent it through streaming and that's it. You can't buy it. You can only rent it. And
right.
Then you can buy it like 2 months after that or whatever. And that's what it'll hit Blu-ray too at the same time until that dies off. I mean, it's not like I don't understand that eventually disc media is going to go away. But at the same time, by the time that happens, they have to find a way to make the cost difference less. And at this point, they can't do that, I don't think. Not without eliminating one of the windows, which they're doing.
Well, that's just it. They cannot, there's just no money there anymore. And I mean, even with these deals that places like Universal has where, yeah, they're gonna farm it to their pay one window. And just for everybody watching, I know I've explained this, I think, before in one of my videos, but I know we have a little bit different audience here. So the pay windows are what happens to a film after it leaves theaters. So let's take Top Gun Maverick as a great example, or let's do Minions, an actual Universal thing. And we have Jurassic World, which is also Universal. So Jurassic World is going to go to Amazon Prime. Minions is going to Netflix. So 3 months or so after they exit the theater, for example, or 2 months after they exit
Not
the theater.
even, because they're already on video, both of them.
Well, but not streaming.
Yeah, they're available on VOD streaming though.
Where you got to pay for them, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they're there digitally to buy or rent, but I'm talking like the pay one window. So that's one window there, but that's the buy and rent window. But the actual what used to be like where it would go to Showtime or Cinemax, and then it would
That
go
was
on
the
down
last.
the line to
Yeah.
those are the pay windows. So pay one window would be it's in this case it goes on Peacock first for 4 months. The next 10 months it goes to either Amazon or Netflix respectively. And then for the last 4 months of the pay one window, it comes back to Peacock. Then there's another contract for pay two windows. So even with that, they were getting multi-billion-dollar deals both from Netflix and Amazon. So that's where Universal's money or Universal's movies are still able to make long-term money outside of Universal for 36 months after they leave the theater, not including what you just brought up, Tom, where you can go buy it on PVOD or rent it on PVOD, right now. So they're giving things windows. Paramount is, at least with Top Gun, giving things windows. Inexplicably, Universal is putting Halloween Ends day and date on Peacock. I don't
understand this fucking move.
The F they are doing. I'm so.
Only thing I can think is this because it's a horror movie and that move did so well from last year, but I don't think they're realizing that COVID had a lot to do with that.
Why leave all that money on the table?
I know.
It's not like that movie is going to jack Peacock subscriptions overnight.
I'm sure the last one did, but the reason that is because a lot of people were still too afraid to go to a fucking theater or their theaters weren't fucking open yet.
Yeah, that was my theater was still recovering from the hurricane that came through here last year. So
let alone the coof part, but yeah.
Well, the other theater I think was around. Well, they were still doing repairs too, I think. So I just couldn't go see. That's why I didn't go check out Shang-Chi in the theater. And then when Halloween came out, I'm like, well, it's on Paramount or Peacock, so I'm just gonna go watch it there. I don't know. I want to try to go see this in the theater. I really do. But part of me wants to just stick it to them and fine. You want to do this? You're not getting my theater money. I'll sit at home and watch it with my $4 subscription that I have.
Yeah, that's a down for them because that goes against everything I'm saying because they're losing a lot of revenue that way. I mean, they may be getting close to the revenue they'd get from a ticket perhaps, but even still, I just don't see that being a good reason to do that. But no, because what Valiant's saying is true. The old window used to be a movie would come out 6 to 8 months later, the video would come out. Then a year from the date, usually that the movie would come out in theaters, you'd get it on HBO or Showtime. And then in between there, you'd have what was called pay-per-view, which kind of is similar to it was kind of a pay window. Depending on the film, sometimes the pay-per-view window would be just before the video, sometimes just after. It all depended. It eventually became more after. And then satellites kind of took over pay-per-view after a while there, it seemed like. But then that window went away after a while. And then, of course, the final last hoorah was the sell-through home video. And then, of course, DVD was sell-through from the start. And then you would get your television revenue. And see, that's the thing is they don't really have the network television revenue anymore. I'm sure that they don't get nearly as much as they used to for those premieres. They've kind of killed the Showtime and HBO revenue by putting everything on streaming, but at least they've amortized that, I guess, from what you were just saying, Valiant, by selling movies to like Amazon and stuff like that. But you got to look at a situation like how much money did possibly Paramount either leave on the table or save by selling Coming to America, for instance, to Amazon. Like they barely made their money back from what we figure as far as the cost, but we don't know if that movie would have been a hit. It was a pretty big hit for Amazon Prime, but what if that movie would have made $300-400 million?
Yeah, I mean, it could have. It's possible, but even still, they could have thrown it in the theaters. They probably could have made a decent bit of their spend back. But then again, I don't remember how much they got for it. But it was one of those things.
It was like the budget, I think, was like 125, and I think they paid 185 for it. So I want to say they made like a 20 million profit on it. It was all it was.
Well, you know what? Honestly, then that worked out in their favor. That was
it did in that respect, but like it still did well enough on Amazon that I'm questioning that it might have had a really good opening weekend, but I don't know if it would have. The word of mouth would have killed it. I think.
I don't see people,
and I think they saw that happening.
They didn't want to risk. I mean, if they, I cannot believe what the hell did they spend 125 million on? Jeez,
I just probably Eddie Murphy and certain other things like that. Actually, no, I don't think it was 125. I think the budget was only like 80. It might have been
80,
only
I can believe.
And then I think they sold it for like 180, something like that. So maybe they made
well, because Paramount's looking at that. If that's the case, they sold it for 180.
I don't remember them making that much though, so I don't think that's right.
Well, but that would have meant at the time, depending on how they would have otherwise released it, because they probably would have wanted to put it on Paramount Plus right away or after 30 days, which means the theaters would have paid them even less. If they really got 180 million for that thing from Amazon, that means they'd have had to pull 400 plus in the theater gross to make that 180. Because the distributors, and here's the other thing: distributors were getting paid way less in 2021 because so many of them were.
It was only 60 million. It was only 60 million.
Was the budget?
Yeah,
I can't imagine it. Okay, and they really got 180. God, well then, Paramount's like, yeah, we'll take that. We made bang. Even if they got 120 for it.
They sold it for 125. Okay, so it wasn't too far off. I knew that it's close. I knew they made like 20 or 30 million off it. Yeah.
Guaranteed, we double our money right now, or we gamble and we have to spend another 60 million to advertise this and hope we can get 300 million at the box office. Dude, if I'm running Paramount right there and Amazon's offering me $1.25 for that thing, I'm like all day and every day, and I'll take that check right to the bank.
See, because I think Amazon's eating a bunch on that, to be honest with you, because it's not on video. I think it's on Blu-ray.
It's not worth 125 million.
And that's just it. Yeah, that's my point. No, I mean, now granted, it's not like it used to be, and I get it. They got to try and cash in on some of these movies faster than they used to. That's understandable. Because a movie's life cycle used to be around 3 years, roughly. 2 or 3 years. Because the network premiere date was anywhere from 2 to 3 years after the theatrical release.
Because you used to have about at least 4 to 6 months in a theater, or let's put it this way, from the
even
time
a little bit more back in the day if it was a bigger movie, but yeah.
Well, yes, in the 80s especially, some things lingered around for a year, but it took at least 6 months to 12 months before it would wind up at the rental store. And then it would be another, or at least during that time, maybe depending on which era you're talking about, then it would wind up on like HBO, Showtime, Cinemax after a year.
Yeah, a year used to be like earlier on. You're right. Like earlier on, HBO it took a little longer. Yeah. But see, there was a time when here's the thing that was fucked up.
There was a lot of time. One window that's never changed.
Yeah, there's one thing. One thing about HBO was they used to show a lot of movies that weren't on VHS back in the day. And some movies that, like, I remember the version of Heavy Metal I saw.
Oh yeah, they got exclusives. I do remember. Yeah,
was recorded off of HBO because it wasn't released on video. So like, they had that going for them too, but they don't have that option now because once, like we said, everything's so accessible now. You can get it on Apple Plus, you can get it on Vudu, you can get it on Amazon, you can get it on video, you can get it here, you can get it there, you can watch it on Netflix in 6 months. As opposed to waiting, like you said, the 12 to 18 month window for HBO or Showtime like it used to be, and then the 2 to 3 year window it used to be on television. Sure, you can rent it on video, but you usually had to wait to buy a film unless it was a movie that was a sell through, like the original Top Gun was one of the first, if I'm not mistaken, it's the first run film to ever come out on video like that in a sell through. Even though they did do prior to that, I think it was Star Trek 2, and Beverly Hills Cop as a test run. And Beverly Hills Cop would have been a little bit newer at that time, but we were talking about this with Robert the other night.
Okay.
Or not the other night, but like 2 weeks ago. Because there's been some debate. Because I've been going around, because there's a lot of people who think that, the first sell-through movies from Disney were this, that, and the other. It's like, no. The first animated one that I can remember, aside from Dumbo. Whoop, we just lost Valliant. The first animated one aside from Dumbo was Pinocchio. Dumbo and I think The Sword and the Stone were the only two they would play. Let them put on video and play on television. So anyway, and then they also had Robin Hood come along later. And so until Valiant gets back here, let's see what we got here for a super chat. I've seen one here. Dr. Coffin Nails wants to know how the Jaws 4K is. Jaws 4K is amazeballs. Welcome back, my friend.
Hey, Was it just me?
I had a hiccup earlier with StreamYards. I think StreamYards is doing an update of some kind.
Hey, something happened. It's not your fault though, and it just kicked me
That's
out.
exactly what I had earlier.
It just dropped, and I just hit refresh, and I'm like,
I think StreamYards is doing some kind of updates
okay,
or something.
that's weird. But yeah, I just realized it's almost 7 o'clock. I'm gonna have to get going in a few
No,
minutes.
well,
but I
that's
know you
good.
wanna
We're
get
gonna
to
head
the
on
chats.
here anyway.
Yeah.
But I think we both can recommend this one because I think you have it too. The Jaws 4K is
Oh,
one
it's
of the
beautiful. Yeah, it's
best
absolutely
early
beautiful.
4K restorations ever. Plus, I think it's got a 6K master, so it looks brilliant on 4K. They cleaned it up really well,
Oh yeah.
fixed the negative. The Dolby Atmos track is really well, and I'm sure it's the bassist for the IMAX release that's coming out here in 2 weeks. So I can't wait to see that on the big screen. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I would say Dr. Coffinails. You know what I would do though, just in case Dr. Coffinails? Hold off. Because with the way they re-released ET here, I'm like we talked about at the top of the show, you weren't here. I have a feeling they might be coming out with a little bit more elaborate version of Jaws coming up here, so you might want to wait. Because then you might benefit from waiting because then there might be some new features and some other cool swag and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you might get the older version cheaper. So it's a win-win
Yeah,
for you.
it's not going to
either
be a
way.
new like upgraded restoration. The restoration's done. It ain't getting better than what it looks now. But yeah, they might have more swag that comes with it.
Special features, maybe like they did with ET. Maybe we'll get a 3D version of it on disc. Not that that matters to you probably, but like I said, you can then choose between, do I want to spend the $60 on the swag version and get the new special features, or do I just want to spend $10-15 on the older 4K and save myself some money? So I'd hold off. Or you might even be able to get it cheaper than that by then, actually.
Yeah, potentially.
But it's definitely one of the reference quality, even though the film itself, the film stock is not the greatest, it's a reference quality disc, I'd say. But with that, we're going to wrap things up here because Valliant has to take off as well. I will be heading over to Greg's channel here in a little bit, in about, let's see, like an hour and a half or so, roughly. I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. We'll be talking about new, or not new, but whatever we watched in the last week or so, or physical media stuff. It's Blu-ray, CDs, whatever kind of stuff. So follow us over there at FanZcene as well. And thank you for being here today, listening to us on 4K for you. Check out Valliant's channel. He's always got good stuff going on. He's going to be talking to WD Pro again, I believe, as you said earlier.
Yeah, we're gonna record something about an hour from now related
Tell
to.
him I said hey.
Yeah, we'll do, and we're gonna be talking about some of the new news that he got. Some folks in the toy industry have been watching us talk and
Interesting.
had a lot to say.
We're gonna have to try and get him on
Disney
like
toys.
Friday morning or something. Like, you'll have to let me know a day that works for him that he can maybe possibly make a morning show.
Yeah,
I can ask him too, but
yeah. Just shoot him an email.
Because that'd be
I'll
cool
put
to
it
have
this
all
way.
you guys on a Friday with, even if we can get like Cameron and shit too. Yeah.
This week, I'm almost positive it's not going to work, and it might not be like in the middle of the day. It just depends on his schedule. But this week and next
Gotcha.
week, he might be a little wrapped up in some stuff.
Gotcha.
So,
All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind. With that, do check out FanZcene's channel and Valliant Renegade's channel as well as the main channel, Midnight Espanol, and all the other channels we have as a part of the family organization and Mi Familia. And with that, let's take it out of here. Anything else to say, Valliant?
nope. Thanks for joining us and for being here, and appreciate the super chats, and good to see everybody.
Take care, kids. See you next time.